Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a topic that many are calling, well, a profound shift. Experts suggest it's as transformational as, say, the discovery of electricity.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating is that the term artificial intelligence itself, it was actually coined way back in 1956.
Right. But Dartmouth College.
Exactly, at a Dartmouth conference. And get this, funded by the Rockefeller Foundation. Philanthropy, right at the roots of AI.
It's a surprising origin, isn't it? And it really sets the stage for our deep dive today. We're going to explore how AI is, well, much more than just a new gadget. It's a revolution, specifically for the nonprofit sector.
Yeah.
And for any mission-driven organization listening today, understanding these technologies isn't just, an option anymore. It's an absolute imperative.
Absolutely. So our mission for you, our listener, is to cut through all the hype, you know, separate the myths from the reality, and really give you a clear roadmap. We want you to see how AI can genuinely amplify your impact, drive some incredible efficiency, and foster innovation across, well, every part of nonprofit work.
And crucially, doing it all while holding on to those core values, trust, transparency, humanity. That has to be front and center.
Couldn't agree more. So by the end of this, you'll walk away with practical insights, a framework, hopefully, to navigate this whole AI transformation with more confidence.
That's the goal.
Okay, so let's start with the urgent why. What's creating this undeniable pressure for nonprofits to embrace AI right now?
Well, we're seeing a pretty sobering reality across many developed nations. It's sometimes called the generosity crisis.
Right.
In the U.S., for instance, the percentage of households giving to nonprofits, it actually fell from 66% back in 2000 to less than 50% by 2018.
Wow, so givers are a minority for the first time.
For the first time. And it's not just money. Formal volunteerism also took a big hit.
Yeah, I saw those numbers, plummeting from 30% in 2019 to just 23% in 2021.
Exactly. So you get the situation, sometimes called dollars up, donors down. The total amount might look okay, maybe even rising slightly.
Right. Fewer people giving larger amounts.
Precisely. But that shrinking base of individual supporters, it creates a much more fragile system. It's really vulnerable to economic ups and downs. And those traditional fundraising methods, they just aren't cutting it like they used to.
Okay, so a shrinking base. What else is contributing to this pressure? You mentioned a perfect storm.
Yeah, it's like a confluence of circumstances. The global pandemic, for one, was this huge, unexpected catalyst.
Right, COVID-19.
It forced this dramatic, really rapid shift to virtual events, digital fundraising. Suddenly, organizations that relied heavily on, galas and in-person drives were scrambling.
It exposed vulnerabilities, but also potential.
Absolutely. And it really highlighted existing inequalities. Smaller, community-based organizations often struggled to make that digital leap because they just didn't have the resources or the tech know-how.
That makes sense. And then there's the financial uncertainty piece.
Oh, definitely. A 2021 nonprofit finance fund survey showed that 88%, a huge number of nonprofits, reported financial uncertainty as a significant challenge.
88%, that's staggering.
It is. And this instability, it's compounded by changing patterns in philanthropy itself. We're seeing the rise of new funding streams like donor-advised funds, DFs, and even cryptocurrency donations. I mean, the Giving Block, which is a crypto donation platform, reported something like a 1,558% increase in crypto donations from 2020 to 2021.
Whoa. 1,500%.
Yeah, it's astonishing. But it doesn't just mean new money. It means nonprofits need new skills, new processes, and critically, even greater transparency to handle these new forms of giving.
So it's like a double-edged sword with technology then. These advancements, AI, big data, blockchain, they offer immense potential. I think of charity. Water using remote sensors for real-time project monitoring.
Great example. That transparency is amazing for donors.
But at the same time, these advantages raise donor expectations,
Right, yes.
right? And they risk creating this digital divide.
Right.
Some orgs leverage it, others get left behind.
Exactly. And that ties directly into changing donor expectations. Today's donors, especially, millennials and Gen Z, they demand personalization. They want to see their specific impact.
They want proof.
They want proof and they want connection. This is partly why things like peer-to-peer fundraising and Giving Tuesday have been so successful. Giving Tuesday pulled in, $2.7 billion in the U.S. in 2021. Donors want to be active participants.
Yeah, not just writing a check into a void. And amidst all this, there's just intense competition for attention, for connection.
Overload. Information overload.
Totally.
Okay.
Especially on social media, where algorithms dictate who sees what. Nonprofits like the ACLU, they're using everything. Instagram, podcasts, you name it, just trying to cut through that noise.
So the call to action here is really clear. Peter Drucker, the management guru, he put it perfectly. The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence itself, but to act with yesterday's logic.
That's powerful. Yesterday's logic won't cut it.
Exactly. So for nonprofits, AI adoption isn't really an option anymore. It's becoming an imperative if they want to meet these growing demands and actually achieve their missions effectively.
Okay, so the imperative is clear. Let's demystify AI itself then, because there's so much hype and, frankly, confusion.
Yeah.
What is it, really? And maybe more importantly, what is it not, especially for nonprofits?
Right. Good place to start. To understand AI now, it helps to just briefly look back. It really started taking shape in the 1950s. Remember that Dartmouth conference?
With the Rockefeller funding, yeah.
Right. Back then, it was focused on early problem solving, things like playing chess or checkers, simple logic puzzles. Then came the AI winter in the 70s and 80s. Enthusiasm cooled because, well, computers just weren't powerful enough yet.
The hardware couldn't keep up with the ideas.
Exactly. But then the 90s and 2000s saw the rise of machine learning. Computing power caught up, we started getting larger data sets, and AI began tackling more complex real-world problems.
And that leads us to now, the last decade or so.
Right. Roughly 2010 to the present, the deep learning revolution. This is where we see huge breakthroughs in neural networks, these incredibly powerful GPUs, graphics processing units.
Originally for gaming, right?
Yeah, ironically. But they turned out to be perfect for AI calculations. And of course, this is the era of large language models, LLMs, like GPT that everyone's talking about now.
So that brings us to today, what you called a perfect technological opportunity. Why now?
Well, it's this convergence, the explosion of big data, just unimaginable amounts of information being generated.
Right.
Combined with that exponentially increased computing power, especially cloud computing, suddenly you don't need a supercomputer in your basement. These advancements have fundamentally democratized AI. It's not just for Google or Amazon anymore.
And the open source community has played a huge role too, right? Sharing tools, sharing code.
Absolutely massive. It fuels innovation at an incredible pace and makes cutting-edge tools accessible even to smaller nonprofits with limited budgets. But with all this rapid change comes, well, a lot of myths.
Okay, let's tackle some of those head on. Myth number 1, AI is going to take everyone's jobs. Human workers will be replaced.
Yeah, that's the big scary one. But the reality is, AI primarily augments human effort. It's brilliant at handling repetitive, data-intensive tasks.
Things humans find tedious anyway.
Exactly, freeing up staff time for the things humans excel at. Building relationships, strategic thinking, empathy, creative problem solving. AI can't replicate that. Think of it as a partner. Genuinely, not a replacement.
Okay. Partner, not replacement. Let's skip ahead a bit, maybe to myth number 6. AI is a one-size-fits-all solution, like a magic wand.
Right. Another common misconception. The reality is AI is most effective when applied to specific, well-defined challenges. You need clear goals, clear metrics for success. You can't just sprinkle AI dust on a problem and expect magic.
Got it. Specificity is key. How about myth number 9? AI will kill human creativity.
Yeah, I hear this one a lot too. But the reality can be the opposite. AI can actually be a powerful co-creator. It can generate ideas, draft initial content, analyze patterns in art or music. It handles the grunt work, maybe, allowing humans to focus on refining, enhancing, adding that unique spark of ingenuity. It's like a super-powered brainstorming buddy.
A co-creator, I like that.
Yeah.
And finally, myth number 10. AI is just a fad, a passing trend.
If I had a nickel. Look, the reality is AI is absolutely here to stay. It's already becoming deeply embedded in our daily lives, often invisibly. And the key thing to remember is the AI you use today, it's the worst version you'll ever use.
Meaning it's only going to get better, more integrated.
Exponentially so. It's not going away.
Okay, so that brings us to a really important distinction, especially for nonprofits. The difference between artificial intelligence and, maybe a better term, augmented intelligence.
Yes, this is critical. It's about synergy. AI excels at processing massive data sets, spotting patterns humans would miss, doing repetitive tasks tirelessly, and predicting outcomes based on past data. It's about efficiency, consistency, scale.
Data crunching power.
Right. But human intelligence, that's where contextual understanding comes in. Ethical judgment, creativity, empathy. building trust and relationships. These are uniquely human skills.
So the power isn't AI or humans, it's AI and humans.
Precisely. Augmented intelligence is about combining AI's data insights with that irreplaceable human touch. So AI might identify potential major donors based on data patterns.
But it's the human fundraiser who understands their why, builds the relationship, makes the personal ask.
Exactly that. It's about enhancing human capabilities, not replacing the human element. That's where the real magic happens for mission-driven work.
Okay, myths debunked. We understand augmented intelligence. Now let's go practical. What are the core applications? Where does AI deliver tangible benefits for nonprofits?
Well, first and foremost, AI can create just tremendous efficiency. Streamlining operations is a huge one.
How specifically?
Think about automating repetitive tasks, donor follow-up emails, basic report generation, scheduling meetings, even some aspects of financial management. AI tools can handle that, freeing up valuable human time.
So staff can focus on more strategic, high-impact work.
Exactly. That human capital is precious. AI helps you allocate it better, which leads to the second point. Analyzing and optimizing resource allocation and program delivery.
Using data to make programs better.
Right. Predictive models, powered by machine learning, can help figure out which programs are likely to have the biggest impact, how to distribute resources most effectively, maybe identify communities with unmet needs.
Are there examples of this?
Sure. The International Medical Corps uses predictive analytics for disaster response. They can anticipate where needs will be greatest and preposition supplies and teams. It makes their response faster and more effective.
Wow, that's life-saving potential right there.
Yeah.
And it sounds more proactive.
It is. And that's another benefit, predicting trends and needs. AI can analyze huge data sets, social media trends, public health data, economic indicators to anticipate emerging community needs.
Like what?
Maybe predicting potential disease outbreaks in a region or identifying populations likely to fall into crisis, allowing nonprofits to intervene before it happens. More proactive support.
That's powerful. What about measuring impact? That's always a challenge.
AI can really supercharge impact measurement and reporting. It collects and analyzes program data much faster and often more accurately than manual methods. Think real-time dashboards showing key metrics.
So, less time spent compiling reports, more time understanding what works.
Precisely. Charity Navigator, for instance, uses AI to help monitor how effectively nonprofits are using their funds, bringing more transparency to the sector.
Which naturally leads to improving overall decision-making.
Exactly. AI's predictive power helps guide strategy.
Right.
By spotting subtle patterns in data, maybe predicting future donor churn, or identifying the program activities that lead to the best long-term outcomes, leaders can make more informed, data-driven choices.
Nonprofits become more strategic, more effective.
That's the goal.
Okay, big picture benefits are clear. When we talk about these applications, what are the specific types of AI technology being used under the hood?
Good question. So when we talk about predictive analytics, segmenting donors, understanding behavior trends, that's often machine learning, ML. It learns from data to make predictions.
Okay.
For analyzing unstructured data, things like images, video, audio files, that's where deep learning comes in. It uses more complex neural networks.
Examples.
Environmental groups using deep learning on satellite images to track deforestation, or health initiatives using it to help diagnose conditions from medical scans in remote areas where specialists aren't available.
Got it. And all the content creation buzz.
That's largely generative AI, Gen AI. Creating personalized emails, drafting grant proposals, generating marketing copy, even creating images or videos.
And understanding language.
Yeah.
Chatbots analyzing feedback.
That falls under natural language processing, NLP, teaching computers to understand and respond to human language. Crucial for things like chatbots providing instant support or analyzing sentiment in donor surveys.
What about seeing things, like analyzing images?
That's computer vision, enabling machines to interpret and understand visual information. Think disaster response using drones with computer vision to assess damage, or conservationists using it to identify and track endangered species from camera trap images.
Okay, one or two more.
Sure. Reinforcement learning is often used for optimization problems, like figuring out the most efficient way to distribute aid or optimizing volunteer schedules based on predicted needs and availability.
And looking ahead.
We're seeing the rise of agentive AI. These are systems designed to operate more autonomously, making predictive decisions. For example, a food bank system that not only tracks current inventory, but proactively predicts future demand spikes in certain neighborhoods based on external data, and maybe even initiates orders. Still early days for complex tasks, but the potential is huge.
Okay, that covers the tech landscape. So we've talked about the what and the how. Now, let's make it personal. Why should you, the individual listening, maybe a fundraiser, a program manager, an operations person, why should you care about AI? This gets into AI fluency.
Yeah, AI fluency, it's becoming essential. I'm reminded of a story Nathan Chappell, who wrote The Generosity Crisis, tells. He was at the airport, realized he'd left his phone in his friend's car that just drove off.
Oh no, panic moment.
Total panic. He said he felt utterly debilitated, no boarding pass, no hotel info, no way to call an Uber. It just hits home how reliant we are, often without thinking, on real-time data and connected tech in our daily lives.
You take it for granted until it's gone.
Exactly. And just like the internet went from novelty to essential utility, AI is doing the same. It will quietly but profoundly reshape almost every aspect of our professional lives, whether you're ready or not.
So AI fluency isn't just a buzzword. What does it actually mean in a nonprofit context?
It's more than just knowing the definition of AI. It's the ability to critically evaluate AI tools, to understand their potential and their limitations, and crucially, to know how to integrate them effectively and ethically into your work. Alison Fine and Beth Cantor put it well. It's developing a working knowledge to make informed decisions.
Informed decisions, not just blindly adopting tech. And there's a tangible benefit too, right, for career growth.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. An AWS study from 2023 found that employees with AI skills could command salaries up to 30% higher.
Wow. 30%?
Yeah. So AI fluency matters for individuals and for the sector. It equips you for better strategic thinking, helps streamline your own work so you can focus on the human stuff, helps bridge that skills gap we see, sparks innovation, and honestly just positions you and your organization to stay relevant and effective.
So how do you develop it? Do you need to go get a computer science degree?
Not at all. That's a key point. Think about a microwave. You don't need to know how to build one to use it effectively, right?
Right. You need to know which buttons to press, what not to put inside.
Exactly. It's about skill acquisition and using the tools. Learn how to use AI platforms relevant to your role. Learn to recognize when they're working well and when the output seems off.
Okay, so practical usage. What else?
Project application. Learn by doing. Find a small, routine task you can try automating. Experiment with an AI tool for segmenting donors, maybe. Just dip your toe in.
Yeah, hands-on.
And foster innovation and creativity. Ask yourself, how could AI help us do X better? Or tackle problem Y in a new way? Stay curious. Experiment.
And the ethical piece seems huge here.
Absolutely crucial. Ethical awareness. You need to understand the potential for bias in AI, the importance of data privacy, how to ensure transparency. Nonprofits especially need to build a culture of verify then trust when it comes to AI outputs.
Not just blindly trust the algorithm.
Never. And because AI changes so fast, continuous learning is non-negotiable. Commit to reading articles, watching webinars, joining networks. Stay updated.
It's not a one-and-done training.
Definitely not. And foster collaboration across roles. AI isn't just an IT thing. Talk to colleagues in other departments. How might AI impact fundraising and program delivery and operations? Share ideas. Get diverse perspectives.
Break down those silos?
Yes. And finally, just build confidence. Start small. Apply tools incrementally. Don't be afraid if things don't work perfectly at first. Troubleshoot. Learn. Adapt.
So this sounds like it's really changing the skills needed in the nonprofit workforce.
It is. There's definitely a growing need for analytical skills, critical thinking, digital literacy. But interestingly, it also makes traditional soft skills even more important.
How so?
Because AI can handle the data analysis, the pattern recognition, but it can't replicate empathy, complex problem solving involving human emotions, nuanced communication, or true creativity. Those become premium skills. As Lucy Bernholz says, technology is a tool for social good, not the end goal itself.
The human element becomes even more valuable. Okay, let's shift to the organizational level. What does it mean to become an AI-first nonprofit? This sounds like more than just using a few tools.
It really is. It's a fundamental mindset shift. Many nonprofits right now are understandably early in adoption, They might use AI for drafting emails, maybe analyzing a spreadsheet. That's helpful, but it's passive.
Using AI as an add-on.
Right. An AI-first nonprofit, though, views AI as a cornerstone for delivering its mission. It's integrated into strategic planning, into program design, into fundraising strategy, into operations. It's proactive, not reactive.
And we can probably learn from how the private sector is approaching this.
Definitely. Look at the Royal Bank of Canada, RBC. They use AI chatbots for routine customer questions, balance inquiries, simple transactions.
Frees up human staff?
Exactly. It frees up their human agents to handle more complex issues. Financial advice, relationship building. Nonprofits can adopt a similar model for automating basic donor inquiries or providing instant answers to common questions, letting staff focus on deeper engagement.
And it's not always the wealthiest organizations that are the most innovative, is it? I remember hearing Trevor Noah talk about this.
Yeah, that was a great insight he shared at the Microsoft Global Nonprofit Leaders Summit. He basically said, necessity is the mother of invention.
Right.
He observed that often it's developing countries facing urgent needs and resource constraints that drive the most creative uses of technology. Like Zipline using drones for medical supply delivery in Rwanda. It wasn't about having the biggest budget, it was about solving a critical problem. His point was, wealth is not innovation.
Need drives creativity. So AI isn't just about efficiency. It can actually help nonprofits tackle problems that were previously maybe unsolvable.
Absolutely. Think about identifying emerging needs during a crisis. During the Australian bushfires, AI was used to analyze data and help predict fire spread patterns, aiding response efforts.
Wow.
Or conservationists using AI to analyze whale song recordings to understand communication patterns and migration routes. Or bringing healthcare to remote areas, AI-powered apps that can help diagnose eye diseases from a phone picture or detect early signs of skin cancer. These were incredibly difficult or impossible before.
So AI's impact spans the whole organization, right? Front of house, back of house.
Definitely. Front of house. Think personalizing donor outreach at scale, providing 247 support via chatbots, identifying potential major donors who might have been missed.
Enhancing external relationships.
Right. And back of house, it's automating administrative grunt work, analyzing financial data for better budgeting, optimizing inventory for a food bank, streamlining logistics. All these efficiencies free up that precious human time and resources for the core mission work.
Okay, we've seen the potential. Let's drill down now into specific applications.
Yeah.
AI in action within nonprofit functions, starting with program development and impact measurement.
Right. For program development, predictive AI can be really powerful. Imagine identifying, say, students who are statistically at high risk of dropping out of a program, allowing for targeted interventions before they leave.
Proactive support again. And personalization seems key here, too.
It is. Just like Netflix suggests shows you might like, AI can help tailor programs to individual beneficiary needs. An environmental nonprofit, maybe, could use AI to coordinate complex restoration projects, automatically scheduling tasks based on real-time weather data, soil conditions, volunteer availability, much more dynamic.
And for measuring impact, that's the holy grail for many.
AI automates a lot of the tedious data collection. It can analyze much more complex data sets than humans can easily manage, providing faster, more accurate insights into what's working and what's not. Think of a workforce development nonprofit using AI to track participant progress, analyze factors leading to successful job placement, and generate detailed outcome reports automatically.
Saving time and getting deeper insights. You mentioned Stop Soldier Suicide earlier.
Yes, a really impactful case study. They used AI to analyze communications from veterans, looking for language patterns indicative of high suicide risk. When the AI flagged high-risk language, it alerted trained staff who could then reach out proactively, provide support, and connect the veteran with resources. It's been instrumental in interventions, saving lives, and also informing their broader mental health strategies, truly using AI for profound human impact.
That's incredible. Okay, shifting to fundraising, resource development, donor experience, we hear terms like precision philanthropy. What's AI doing here?
It's having a huge impact. Some studies suggest nonprofits using AI for fundraising are seeing donation increases of up to 50% through better targeting and personalization. But the real game changer isn't just asking smarter, it's fundamentally understanding donors better.
How so? What are the key shifts?
Well, think about AI-enhanced data enrichment. It's not just using your own internal data anymore. AI allows you to blend that with external data, other charitable giving, demographics, consumer behavior, even personal interests to get a much richer, more holistic picture of your constituents. And importantly, doing it in a way that can actually reduce bias compared to relying only on limited internal data.
Okay, richer data. What else?
AI in continual learning. Old fundraising models were often static snapshots. AI models are dynamic. They learn and adapt as donor behavior evolves, constantly refining predictions and personalization, much like Amazon gets better at recommending products the more you use it. Remember, the AI you use today is always improving.
It learns over time. Interesting.
And a key insight is differentiating donors from prospects. AI helps reveal they often behave very differently. For example, one study found that for a first-time gift to a hospital, having had a recent clinical encounter there was hugely predictive, like 70% of the decision factor. But for an existing donor, that same factor was only about 5% predictive.
Wow. So you approach them completely differently.
Completely. You need different messages, different strategies. It also reinforces the idea of quality over quantity. Nurturing relationships with smaller groups of high potential donors often yields better long-term results than mass blasting everyone. AI helps identify those most likely to give or upgrade, allowing fundraisers to focus their valuable time there finding the right donors.
Focus the human effort where it counts most. And trust is paramount in fundraising. How does AI intersect with that? Especially concerns about bias.
That's the fifth key evolution, building trust through transparency. It's absolutely critical. Nonprofits must address concerns about black box algorithms where you don't know why a decision was made, and they must actively combat bias in the data. For instance, relying too heavily on wealth indicators might inadvertently cause an AI to focus mostly on wealthy white males, missing huge potential in other communities.
The models themselves need to be designed to reduce bias.
Actively designed and continuously monitored, trust is the absolute currency of this sector. You break it, it's incredibly hard to get back.
So beyond these shifts, AI drives personalization and outreach.
Massively. Tailoring messages based not just on donation history, but volunteerism, event attendance, expressed interests, how they engage with emails or social media. Imagine a veteran support nonprofit using generative AI to craft unique, compelling stories of successful transitions, create tailored visuals for different donor segments, or personalized presentations for major gift asks.
Deeper connection. And automation helps streamline the process.
Hugely. Automating things like updating donor records after an interaction, sending personalized thank you notes immediately, triggering follow-up sequences, onboarding new supporters. It frees up fundraisers for strategy and relationship building.
You mentioned Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Fantastic example. They used a custom AI model. It flagged a donor who was highly engaged online, attended events, but had only given about $5,000 total over time. Relatively small gifts.
So maybe overlooked by traditional metrics.
Potentially. But the AI predicted very high potential based on her engagement signals. So the fundraising team reached out, had a conversation, and asked for a $50,000 gift. They closed it. In 2 weeks. That single gift paid for nearly a year and a half of their AI contract cost. And their major gift officers reported saving about 70% of their prospecting time because the AI focused them on donors who were actually interested and ready for that conversation.
Incredible ROI and efficiency gain. Okay, let's talk volunteers. Huge resource, but often hard to manage effectively. What's the challenge?
It's a big one. Nearly half, 46.8% of nonprofit CEOs say securing enough volunteers is a big problem. And 65% struggle with recruitment and retention. It's a constant churn.
So how can AI help?
Predictive AI can assist with volunteer planning, anticipating future needs based on seasonality, upcoming events, historical trends, community demand changes. A food bank, for instance, could use AI to predict precisely how many volunteers they'll need for a holiday food drive versus a regular Tuesday distribution.
Better planning, less scrambling. Does personalization apply to volunteers too?
Absolutely. AI can help match volunteers to tasks that best fit their skills, interests, and availability. It can personalize training modules, tailor communication preferences, even automate recognition messages based on hours served or specific contributions.
Making the volunteer feel seen and valued.
Exactly. Imagine a refugee assistance group using AI to match volunteers fluent in specific languages with newly arrived families needing translation help, or matching volunteers with tech skills to digital literacy programs. It also helps streamline coordination and administration.
The scheduling nightmare.
AI can automate shift scheduling, send reminders, track hours, generate reports. Think of a community cleanup organizer using AI to automatically assign tasks for an event, send reminders with location details, and then generate personalized thank you notes afterwards with pictures from the event. It reduces the administrative burden significantly.
Freeing up volunteer managers to actually engage with the volunteers. Okay, last function. Marketing and communications. This seems like a prime area for AI, especially content creation.
Huge area. Generative AI, NLP, machine learning, they're automating content creation at a speed and precision we've never seen before. That HubSpot study you mentioned, 85% of marketers think Gen AI will transform content creation. 77% highlight its power for personalization.
That Carvana example was wild. 1.3 million unique personalized videos.
Right. Imagine applying that level of personalization to donor thank you videos or impact updates. And on the nonprofit side, the Furniture Bank example is powerful. They used AI to generate compelling visuals for their stories, showcasing the positive impact of receiving furniture without resorting to exploitative poverty porn imagery. It maintained dignity while still being cost-effective and emotionally resonant.
That's a really important ethical use case. What about social media?
AI can optimize social media strategies, analyze engagement data to figure out the best times to post, what kind of content resonates most, automate scheduling, even draft initial post ideas. A senior support nonprofit could use AI to see which posts about, say, combating loneliness get the most interaction and adjust their content calendar accordingly.
Getting smarter about engagement. And for advocacy.
AI can amplify an organization's voice, automate the dissemination of information during campaigns, personalize messages to legislators or supporters based on their interests or region, use AI chatbots to answer questions about an issue 10 of 47.
Targeted advertising, too.
Yes, AI optimizes digital ad campaigns in real time, targeting specific demographics, interests, online behaviors to ensure the message reaches the most relevant audience, making ad spend much more efficient. A mentoring nonprofit could use AI to find ideal potential mentors on LinkedIn, optimize the ad creative, and track conversions.
And finally, events.
AI can streamline event promotion, personalize invitations and reminders, help predict attendance more accurately based on past data and RSVPs, and even optimize the event experience itself, maybe through personalized schedules or networking suggestions via an event app.
Okay, it's clear AI touches everything. This brings us back to the idea that this isn't just about plugging in new software. It's a deeper transformation journey, a real mindset shift. You used the "who moved my cheese" analogy earlier.
Yeah, it fits pretty well. For those who know the book, the cheese represents what we want in life or work. In this context, the cheese, the old ways of operating, the traditional methods has fundamentally moved. AI has permanently altered the landscape.
You can't just wait by the old spot hoping the cheese comes back.
Exactly. Waiting for things to go back to how they were will just lead to frustration and missed opportunities. AI is reshaping industries globally, and nonprofits need to recognize this isn't a temporary disruption, it's an ongoing, irreversible transformation. You have to go find the new cheese.
And it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
Not a destination you just arrive at.
Absolutely not. It's iterative. It requires constant learning, constant adaptation. Remember, the AI you use today is the worst you'll ever use. That constant improvement means organizations need to be agile, ready to reassess and adjust their approach continually.
A key part of navigating that journey is building the right team. You stressed it's not just an IT project. Why is a multidisciplinary team so crucial for AI adoption?
Because AI touches every function and you need all those perspectives, each role brings unique vital insights. Take fundraisers.
Okay.
They understand donor motivations, relationship building, ethical considerations, and asks. They ensure AI tools enhance outreach, segmentation, retention, predict behavior effectively, and nurture donor trust, not damage it.
Makes sense. Program managers.
They're on the front lines of service delivery. They ensure AI aligns with the mission, helps optimize resource allocation for programs, measures impact meaningfully, maybe even predicts service needs accurately. They keep AI grounded in the actual work.
Operations staff.
They know the internal workflows, the administrative bottlenecks. They're crucial for identifying how AI can automate tasks, streamline processes, reduce costs, and ensure smooth integration into how things actually get done day to day.
And the IT professionals, of course.
Absolutely essential. They handle the implementation, the maintenance, the security. They ensure the systems are robust, integrated correctly, scalable, and meet all the necessary compliance and data management standards.
What about leadership? Executive directors, board members?
Their role is critical. They provide the strategic vision. They have to champion AI, align it with the overall mission, approve the necessary resources, and foster a culture that embraces innovation and responsible experimentation. They set the tone from the top, especially on ethics.
Data scientists or analysts?
If you have them, or partners who provide this, they build or customize the AI models, analyze the data to extract those actionable insights, and play a key role in ensuring data quality and ethical data practices.
And you also mentioned volunteers and frontline workers.
Yes, often overlooked, but their input is invaluable. They have practical, on-the-ground insights into the daily challenges and realities. Their feedback is crucial for designing and deploying AI tools that are actually user-friendly and effective in real-world nonprofit settings. This whole multidisciplinary approach avoids silos, ensures buy-in, and makes sure the AI serves the entire organization's goals.
And it requires investment, right? Like R&D?
Yes. Nonprofits need to start thinking about philanthropic R&D. Allocating some resources, even if small, to explore new AI tools, experiment with pilot projects, learn and develop longer-term strategies, just like businesses invest in research and development.
Okay, so if AI offers all this power, how do we wield it responsibly? This feels like a critical piece, especially for nonprofits built on trust. We need to talk about responsible and beneficial AI.
It's non-negotiable. The core principle has to be AI for nonprofits must prioritize humanity over utility, always. It needs to be designed and deployed in ways that lift up the vulnerable, that promote fairness, transparency, and human dignity. It's about being actively beneficial, not just avoiding harm.
And that word trust keeps coming up. It really is the sector's most valuable asset.
It absolutely is, and it's fragile. Once broken, especially through misused technology or biased data, the negative impact can be lasting and devastating. Poorly implemented AI, particularly if built on flawed or biased data, risks reinforcing existing inequalities, discriminating against certain groups, and completely eroding stakeholder confidence.
So how do we build trustworthy AI? Are there principles?
Yes. The fundraising.ai framework offers a good starting point, outlining key principles. First, transparency. Be clear about when and how AI is being used. Explain the decision-making process as much as possible, what's often called explainability. Avoid those black boxes.
Okay, transparency. What's next?
Fairness and equity. This is huge. Design AI systems to actively reduce bias, not perpetuate it. Continuously monitor them for discriminatory outcomes, especially concerning marginalized groups. People like Mina Das are doing vital work advocating for equitable data practices in the sector.
Privacy and security seem obvious but critical.
Paramount. Nonprofits handle incredibly sensitive data donor financial info, beneficiary personal details. Safeguarding this data has to go beyond just basic compliance with laws like GDPR or CCPA. It needs a proactive, security-first mindset.
And accountability.
Ensure human oversight is always in the loop. AI should augment human decision-making, not replace it entirely, especially for critical decisions affecting people's lives or access to services. Humans need to be accountable for the outcomes.
It's interesting you mentioned compliance. Is just following the law enough?
Rarely, especially with fast-moving tech, laws often lag behind innovation. Nonprofits really need to operate ethically, going beyond minimum legal requirements set by things like the EU AI Act or Canada's AI. In fact, nonprofits are uniquely positioned to advocate for stronger policies that promote responsible and beneficial AI for everyone.
Okay, so if an organization is looking at AI solutions, what are some red flags? How do you spot potentially harmful tools?
Good question. First, a lack of transparency. If a vendor can't or won't explain how their algorithm works, that's a major red flag. Beware of black box systems. Second, insufficient data privacy protections. Look at their track record, their security protocols. Have they had breaches? Third, unrealistic promises. If a tool guarantees massive donation increases or solves all your problems overnight, be very skeptical.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is. Fourth, limited customization options. Generic one-size-fits-all models rarely work well for the unique needs and data of a specific nonprofit. And related to transparency, if they're cagey about data sources or how bias is handled, walk away.
We've seen examples where focusing only on utility or efficiency led to bad outcomes, right? that healthcare example.
Yeah, the 2019 study of an AI system used in U.S. hospitals. It was designed to predict which patients needed extra care follow-up. Sounds good. But the AI learned that historically, wealthier patients generated higher healthcare costs. So it started prioritizing wealthier, predominantly white patients for follow-up because cost was used as a proxy for need.
Wow. So it ended up discriminating against black patients who had the same level of need but lower historical costs.
Exactly. A stark example of optimizing for a seemingly neutral metric cost, leading to deeply inequitable outcomes. It highlights why we must constantly ask, who benefits from this AI? Who might be harmed? And how do we mitigate those risks proactively? And always remember, AI is evolving constantly. What seems safe today might reveal flaws tomorrow. Continuous reassessment is key.
Okay, that underscores the ethical weight.
Yeah.
So, given all this complexity, how do nonprofits actually evaluate AI solutions strategically? What should they look for?
Several key criteria. First, dig deep into data privacy and security. Assess the vendor's track record, their compliance certifications, their security protocols. Are they auditable?
Non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Second, transparency and explainability. Favor tools that offer clarity. Can they explain why the AI made a particular prediction or recommendation? Avoid black boxes.
What about the focus on donors or beneficiaries?
Right. Donor centricity or beneficiary centricity? Does the tool actually help you understand motivations better? Enhance personalization meaningfully? Or is it just a data churning machine? Fourth, bias reduction. Does the vendor actively address bias? What safeguards are built in? And the nonprofit itself needs to audit its own data quality and diversity regularly.
What else is key in an AI tool?
Real-time performance monitoring. You need to see how the AI is doing now, not based on last quarter's data. This allows for quick adjustments to strategy. Also, customization and scalability. Can the tool be tailored to your specific data, your specific goals, and can it grow with your organization?
And involving the vendor.
Yes, client involvement. Does the vendor work collaboratively with you? Do they try to understand your unique context, your organizational culture, and incorporate that into the models? It shouldn't be a purely transactional relationship.
You also mentioned an RMI framework for thinking about adoption stages.
Yeah, it's a simple way to think about the journey. R is for readiness. Do you have the foundational pieces? Reasonably good quality data. The basic tech infrastructure. Staff who are willing, even if hesitant, to learn. You need that readiness first.
Okay, readiness, then M.
M is for maximization. This is about integrating AI into your existing systems and workflows to enhance them, making current processes better, faster, smarter. Not necessarily replacing everything wholesale, but maximizing the value you get from the tools within your current structure.
And I.
I is for immersion. This is the deeper transformation stage. AI becomes fully embedded, a core part of how work gets done. It shapes strategy, drives workflows. This stage requires that continuous learning and adaptation we talked about because the tools and possibilities are always changing.
So readiness, maximization, immersion, a path forward. Any key takeaways for successful adoption overall?
Clear vision and realistic expectations are vital. Know why you're adopting AI and what you hope to achieve. Identify the right use cases and choose appropriate tools. Don't use a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Get leadership and staff buy-in early. Provide ongoing education and support. Don't just dump tech on people. And foster collaborative partnerships, both internally and potentially with external experts or vendors.
And if listeners are thinking, okay, I need to upskill myself or my team, where can they find training?
Lots of great resources now. Online platforms like Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, even YouTube have tons of courses on AI, from beginner introductions to specific tool training. edX offers courses from universities too. Many are affordable or even free.
That's good to know. What about funding? AI tools aren't always cheap. Are there resources for nonprofits specifically?
Yes, definitely. Several tech companies have dedicated nonprofit programs. Google for nonprofits offers credits and discounts. OpenAI has specific programs for nonprofits. Microsoft has its AI for Good Lab and other initiatives. AWS offers the nonprofit credit program. Salesforce has its nonprofit cloud and discounts. It's worth exploring these. They can significantly lower the financial barrier to entry.
Excellent. Okay, let's peer over the horizon now. The future of AI for nonprofits. Trends, possibilities, maybe some challenges too.
The pace of change is just staggering. To really grasp it, think about this. If you fold a standard piece of paper in half 42 times, theoretically, it would reach the moon.
Wow. I've heard that one. It's hard to visualize.
It is, because our brains think linearly, but technological progress, especially in AI, is exponential. Those early folds seem tiny, insignificant. then suddenly the growth becomes astronomical. That's what's happening with AI.
So what does that exponential growth mean for nonprofits?
Right.
What's coming?
We touched on agentive AI earlier, systems moving towards more autonomous operation and predictive decision-making. That food bank example, proactively managing its supply chain based on predicted need. The potential for efficiency is enormous, but we absolutely have to balance that with human oversight, empathy, and accountability.
What about new ways to connect emotionally? AR and VR.
Immersive storytelling through augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR, is fascinating. AR overlays digital info onto the real world, point your phone at a project site in a brochure, see a video update. VR creates fully immersive digital experiences, maybe letting a potential donor virtually walk through a deforested area in the Amazon or experience conditions in a refugee camp.
Powerful for building empathy.
Incredibly powerful, but also raises ethical questions, right? About accurate representation, potential manipulation, data privacy in virtual spaces. Needs careful thought.
Looking even further ahead.
Quantum computing is on the horizon, potentially offering processing power, leaps orders of magnitude beyond current tech. Could solve incredibly complex problems, climate modeling, drug discovery, but also raises environmental concerns about the energy needed. The push for green AI will become even more critical.
And the content generation side. Deepfakes, AI video.
Yeah, deepfakes and advanced AI-generated content present both opportunities and serious ethical challenges. Opportunities for creative storytelling, simulating potential positive futures your nonprofit is working towards. But huge risks around misinformation, manipulation, eroding trust if not used transparently and ethically. That human element of genuine empathy, intuition, lived experience AI can simulate, but not replace it.
Personalization will get even more granular, presumably.
Personalization at scale, yes. AI will allow tailoring communications, programs, and engagement to individuals in ways we can barely imagine now. McKinsey estimated this could increase donor retention by 30% and donations by 20%. Huge potential impact, if done respectfully.
But there's a risk, too, isn't there, that AI could worsen inequality?
That is a critical consideration. AI systems learn from the data they're trained on. If that data reflects existing societal biases, racial, gender, economic groups, the AI can easily amplify those biases, reinforcing existing power dynamics and further marginalizing vulnerable groups. Nonprofits must be vigilant guardians against this.
So how do nonprofits prepare for this complex future?
First, stay informed. Continuous learning is key. Second, consider establishing an AI ethics committee or working group with diverse stakeholders, staff, board members, maybe even beneficiaries to guide responsible adoption. Third, prioritize sustainability, both environmental, green AI, and social in your AI choices.
What are the final concrete steps a nonprofit can take, starting now?
Invest in AI education for staff at all levels. Adopt a governance framework, something like the NIST AI Risk Management Framework or the OECD AI Principles can provide structure for managing risks responsibly. Start small, with low-risk, high-value applications to build confidence and learn. And fundamentally, commit to that cycle of continuous learning and adaptation. The landscape will keep changing.
It really feels like nonprofits, as you call them, guardians of humanity's conscience, have a unique role here. A moral imperative, almost.
I truly believe so. It's about leading the charge to ensure AI serves all people equitably, not just a privileged few, guiding its evolution so it's used ethically, responsibly, and always in the service of the core nonprofit values. Love, justice, compassion, human dignity.
So the final thought for our listeners. Your actions today, no matter your role, will shape tomorrow's reality. What steps can you take to ensure this powerful technology lifts humanity, helps fulfill those vital missions that drive the entire nonprofit sector?
The future isn't just something that happens to us. We can shape it. Let's do it together, responsibly, and with purpose.